So there's different software out there to record, right? There's different software out there, but the advantage that this does with the software is this: that let's say like with the softwares that you make the music, you download it and all of that. But the truth is that sometimes it's like when you have a beat. Let's say if you have a beat, like the beat is okay, but there's no nothing written for the beat, you know. And then as opposed of like when you hear a beat, like all of a sudden you have something to write about, right? So that's the point that sometimes like beats are created with words, and you can. I'm a teach you this. Like for instance, like speaking really fast is a part of it, you know, and the way stuff rhymes is also part of it. And then it starts to like program in my mind all over again the way I put the words right, put the words in, and then I'll start flowing all over again with the words. But the truth is that's not easy. Only certain people can really do that. So I have some of the beats that I record. Like I have no, how do you say it? I have no type of. There's no words to it. Every single beat that I make, every time I make a beat, it's blank. My mind is blank. There's no words. You get what I mean? There's no words there. But when I hear a beat, I'm like, yeah, I can work with this. Let me see what I can do. And here I have it on. I have it on that application that they let you. How do you say it? They have the beat. They let you use the beat, but then the actual track stays on the application so people can review it and stuff like that. But then I only recorded with one of my tracks because it's just so difficult. Here, I'll play it right now. I'll play the beat that I made. I'll play the track that I made. Because you see this one right here, these tracks are recorded professionally. You get what I mean? They're actually .wma .wma files or MP3 files that you can put your voice recorded over them. You know, and I have WMA files too, but for me it makes it right now. It just makes it a whole lot easier to to um to not be recording MP3s, instead just be recording from my tablet to the computer and then back to the application without a MIDI device, because it's like there's no point for me to just, how do you say it? There's no point for me to keep making beats, knowing that I can make beats, and then just keep download a whole bunch of beats, because then I'm gonna be stuck with a whole bunch of beats, and what I'm gonna do? Give them all out for free? Nah. So here it goes. So you learn. All of this is learning in progress, because to be honest, when you download these apps, they cost money. Some of them are free, some of them are not. But what happens here is that you're saving a lot of bread on buying a MIDI device or a how do you say, the beat maker device, and you know, the little box thing, or instruments and all of that, and a soundboard. You're saving money on buying equalizer, amps, speakers, than having to build the studio, the actual studio. You know, you save a lot of money. So in reality, if you really want to get a studio, you have to put at least like 10 bands, like 10 grand, into like a really good studio. You know, but if you don't, there's some people that do make it. You know, there's some people that they're just really good at the software. They're really good at what they do, and people know that. You know, the people know that, because if you get to, it's kind of called like finessing. If you get to use the software and make beats, yeah, it's true. But the thing with the beats is this: there's a copyright thing. You know, when you if you make your own beats and you have the license on it and all of that, you've paid for the software to produce it, then that makes you a music producer, because you already paid for the software. You know, if you pay for the software, that means you're a music producer. That's really it. But if it's music that's already been made and the app lets you use it, you can't publish it. You can't. Well, you can publish it, but you can't sell it. You can't sell it because it's copyright something infringement, I believe. You would have to get permission from the person that made the beat to actually how do you say it, to use it to monetize it. But for instance, like this right here, I made this beat myself and the tracks to it. Yeah. How many times do we go through the same situation over and over and over again? Posted on the block. So many circumstances written on the paper. And at the end of the day, look at us now. It's about the money that stays on our mind. Yeah, we stay on the grind. Headstrong crew. Always think about them dollar bills. And it's okay. That's why I named this Nova Hill. Posted on the blocks during the cold times and during the winters. Posted outside, never stopped going outside. Many of the times they're trying to tell me they're going to shoot me. But thank God I'm still here. Nobody really shoot me. And at the end of the day, if you ain't with it, you ain't with it. It's a matter of fact that people find. So that one right there, I recorded it, the beat to it and everything, the instrumental. I did that also. I did that. I didn't use, how do you say it, a preset audio. I recorded it myself, both the lyrics and the audio, because sometimes just the top of my head and they have something that's called ad-libs. But the ad-libs is very strange because ad-libs is really about action, right? That your emotion and stuff like that. So with ad-libs it can be like, oh yeah, somebody sounds like me, you know? I could say that like when somebody already put music out, I could say that person sounds like me, like my voice. But in reality, there's nothing you can really do about it. You know, if your voice sounds like somebody else's, or somebody's voice sounds like yours, it's like you can't do nothing. You know, you can't do nothing. You can't legally do nothing. You can't say that's my voice, but the entire time the person recorded it, and they recorded it themselves. You know, you can't do nothing. There's nothing you can do about it. You know, you can find out, you know, individuals like that, they probably, you know, you trying to go against a lost, something like a lost cause that somebody gained on, you know, because ad-libs, if you study it, it's a Latin term, which kind of means, so it might be offensive to some people, what I'm about to say, but ad-libs means that you're acting Latin, not Latino, that you're acting Latin. Whatever that means. That's what it says. Believe it or not. It says something's the actions or something. So ad-libs, you used to think that it was just like somebody with a photo, like not saying nothing. Let's say like they take a photo of somebody and they're not saying nothing, like this. You would think that's the ad-lib, but it's not. The ad-lib is actually the person's voice and their actions and the way they speak. You know, but I'm like, man, if I've been out there for such a long time, I'm like, you can say like, oh, I feel like the street owe me my ad-libs. You can say that, but how are you gonna get your money out of the streets? You know, legally. Just so people can think about that, because there's a lot of artists out there that have like my voice and stuff like that. And you could be like this, like, yeah, the person's voice and their lyrics, that's not really them, that's not who they are. You know? You get what I mean, right? But that's something bad. It's kind of mentally messed up. So you have to have some sanity to say it's alright, you know. A lot of us we have the same haircut or this and that or whatever it is. But ad-lib is one of the most difficult things to try to figure out. So music producers that make music, we don't have ad-libs. We don't have ad-libs. Well, kind of. So here's the other one. You know what's crazy? That this entire time, I forget what I'm against. And we against people telling us what to do. Y'all be coming from the outside, trying to tell us what to do over here. How you 52 years old and never owned your own place? That makes no sense. But look at me now. I'm going through it. I'm manning up to it. And that's all I can do is get this dough. I don't back down from nobody. I'll let you know. You can get stuck and I'll catch up to it. I'm in this thing for the long run. Making plays every day. The motivation is to stay level, to stay sane, because I might go insane. Need that duffel bag with bread. I'd rather get that money instead. So many ops be coming after me. Didn't King David had ops too? I grab that too. That's what I want to do. Let it off. Because I feel a lot of pain. It pours when it rains. Can't tell me nothing. I'm in the East Coast. I'll go to the Midwest and come back. I have to get that money though. Get that money though. Get that money though. I'm taking they conscience for ransom though. Have an entire congregation though. The streets know that I'm still on my feet. Nothing I can do. I'm a true hustler, dog. And get it right now. Get it right now. Get it right now. Get it right now. So yeah, you know that after that, how do you say it? Like I mentioned, like that beat right there, the second one, I didn't make it. The I'll tell you right now who the beat belongs to. It doesn't even tell me who the beat belongs to. So that's unbelievable. The beat doesn't tell me. The beat doesn't tell me. How do you say it? It doesn't tell me whose beat that is. You know. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Oh, matter of fact, I lied to you not. It says BV. Oh, whoa. What is going on here? I was the one that started replacing. I put, instead of putting nobody with a B, I put nobody with a B. ODY, because I'm creating this mixtape called Nova Hill. And the story behind it is that, you know, after years of just being outside and since I was like 17, 15 years old, the story is that 2 years ago I survived this kind of like cyber attack that affected my health. I blacked out, and I said it so many times, and it was because like somebody that was related to me decided to do construction where I live at. I keep going over the same thing, and I never agreed for the construction to be done, and I have it against that person at this point for doing that, and but it says BVLGARI, BVL Gary. So I'm not sure right here if the V is supposed to be an A, but I replaced, you know, I said nobody, but Nova Hill is basically that I used to stay like in this when I got stranded outside for like 2 years. I used to stay around these apartment complexes, near the county where I live at, and the county where I used to work at, and there's a circle like this at the top of the, like where I live at now is like a whole bunch of forest. Like it goes up and down the road. The road, the back road is like this. It goes up and down, up and down. So I live like right here. Like let's say this is where I live at, and the main road is the back road is like that. So I used to stay at the end of the back road at night. You know, it would be snowing and icing and turn my car off. I would go to sleep in my car with a blanket, and that's been years after years of just being out there and stuff like that. So I had to come up with, you know, with it being kind of like there's a lot of hills where I live at, and it's outside of the city and stuff like that. That's how I came up with that, and then Nova just came from just like studying space, right? I believe I'll look it up right now what Nova really means in English. I'll tell you right now, just space and Earth and the sky and all of that. That's why that's what it actually means. Well, it actually means new. Yup, and I was right. It has and this in astronomy is a brightening star. Number two is they use it in slang as cyberpunk also. And there's Chevrolet Nova, the Chevrolet Nova, the famous classic car model, and PBS. No, there's something called PBS Nova, Nova Scotia, but yeah, but I didn't get it from PBS. So a nova is a translucent stellar event that causes a sudden dramatic appearance of bright, seemingly new star. That's what nova is. These events occur in binary systems when a dense white dwarf star siphons hydrogen from its companion. So it's literally talking like nova means the creation of a star, like an actual star in the sky, like gas and stuff like that. Which is not funny, but yeah, that's how I knew it had something to do with space and stuff like that. So I just put so it means star, the star on a hill. That's interesting. But to me, what I wanted it to mean was I wanted it to mean cold winter, cold winter. Excuse me, cold winter. That's what I wanted it to mean. Cold winters. Well, cold winters. There we go. That's why I wanted the mixtape to be called like cold winters, and then I should have put like cold winters out of the city. But that sounds so like scripted. You get what I mean? So Nova Hill just sounded a little bit more how do you say it? More catchy. Yeah, more catchy. There we go. Like that, more catchy. That's what it sounded like. It sounded more catchy. So that's how I started working on that mixtape. And I remember I made a whole bunch of instrumentals. I lie to you not. I made a whole bunch of instrumentals. I made like 12, 13 instrumentals. And then I was going to start, how do you say it, putting the words to it and all of that. And besides secular music, people know me like from church and stuff like that. They probably criticize me and say like, oh yeah, he made this and he made that. But come on, like there's other stuff. There's other stuff that's worse that people that go to church do. There's people at church that do some really bad stuff. Just to put that out there. You know, and in my church, I don't be going on. My church, I don't be lying and like cheating on girlfriends and stuff like that. I put that on everything. I don't get in issues with that church because first of all, I'm like they already put me to the side all the time anyway. I've tried my best several times. I'm like, so why even bother? Why even bother? Just to put that out there. And everybody else, the younger generation, I don't know, they get to date everybody else and this and that, and there's no problems. But anyhow, yeah, this Nova Hill, I ain't gonna lie, it's dedicated to the streets. It's dedicated to the streets to know that And maybe it doesn't look right to be out there all the time, but you still gain knowledge. You know, you still gain knowledge of survival and so forth. Believe it or not, there's a lot of music producers that are out there that are very very young, and you don't have to be a guy. You don't have to be a young man or a man to be making beats. You know, a lot of the this is very interesting because there's a lot of MPs that are grown and old and all of them. They make music all the time, left and right. They've been making M's. They've been making M's. I'm talking about M's over M's over M's, and all you need is the skill set. It's like learning how to use a laptop. You get what I mean? It's like learning how to use a computer and stuff like that, or how to speak a second language, or it's close enough to the same thing. You know, you just have to put like time and put effort into it, like that, and everything you can achieve is there. You know, all you need is a positive mindset. All you need to do is to be positive, because if you have people that want to say, like, for me sometimes it's like people don't catch me on the wrong day. People try to come up to me and say like, "Oh yeah, good morning," try to bully me around if I don't say good morning. The entire time dealing with like my car being broken down, having to come up with bread to buy a new one and stuff like that. And after that, it's like there's certain people I just don't put up with. You know, you don't do that. You don't be doing that. You know, if it's about like making music, just say it. Just say it. You know, you should have just said it. If it was about music or something like that, you should have just say it. You know, just say, oh yeah, it's about music, or like I want to be this and that. Just say that. Why be, how do you say it? Why be trying to like cause problems? You get what I mean? So what I'm saying is that I hope it doesn't cause problems for people. You don't have to listen to it at all. But yeah.